Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition episode of Last Cloudia. Today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. So, as you can see, we have new floors for the tower going up to 100. So, what we're going to do today is discuss the actual reward that you get from it, a new UR, and then we can determine was it worth the stress? Let's find out. Alright, so welcome to Luxeus Gotta Ruin second form. So, this is what you get for completing the tower. So just to kind of give you a little bit of let's say context before we talk about the arc. Now, completing floors 1 through 91 wasn't too bad for me. I can pretty much use the exact same team and more or less not have any problems. Once you hit 92, or once I hit 92, I actually started having to need to change teams quite often because they are definitely challenging. So, let's take a look at what this arc is. Now, as far as the trait, I'm going to go ahead and tab this so we can read the level 10 version since I don't have enough orbs. So if unit is the only one in battle, damage plus 50%, damage taken minus 20%. Battle start, give a buff that nullifies a basic status ailment up to 3 times. And this is a permanent effect. And then when no armor or weapon is equipped, let's keep going. Physical attack damage cap 5,000. So, obviously a mouthful, and more or less this is more for your characters that are by themselves, and if you want a little bit of an extra something, don't equip any weapons or armors. So, is that a good thing? I'm personally not the biggest fan of this. I'll be honest with you. The having a buff to nullify a basic status element is good. I'll take that. I think that's arguably the best thing about this trait. But as far as a character being by themselves, ideally you don't want to do this. But if you're just trying to show off a particular character, or you want to do like some test builds of a unit by itself, there's something you can do there. Now, as far as the no weapon or armor being equipped, this is more for specific characters if you don't want them to have specific, things that are necessary, like Luxeus, for example. And you have to literally put like sword equipped or armor equipped or whatever if you want to give them certain things. It doesn't naturally, equip things. So if you just want to run a naked Luxeus, you would get the damage cap 5,000. Another character that I would argue might benefit from this more could be Loug, the heathen. He's the mage that also doesn't really equip things naturally, so that might be something best for him. And since he does magic attacks, you can get a 5,000 damage cap on his magical stuff, and that might actually be pretty decent. So these are just food for thoughts if you want to see where this could be useful. But overall, the trait doesn't really get me excited. Let's take a look at the skills you can learn. So it comes with Pride, which we've seen before, Dark Drive, which honestly I kind of like. If you have a physical DPS character that's of the Dark attribute, you can get some physical and specials increase. I actually like the drive ability, so I'm okay with this. You have Fast Shadow Wall, which is fine. Awaken, okay. Divine Rights skill, so this is a battle start. Skills can be used for 30 seconds, but your skill damage is 30%. Now, honestly, this looks like garbage, I'll be honest with you. I mean, because ideally, you want to be winning within 40 seconds, ideally, because that's where a lot of your battle start stuff ends. And, you just want them gone. And then you might say, well, is this good for bosses? I would say no. I mean, I just don't think that you want to sit there for 30 seconds almost doing nothing, but I guess casting spells or doing buffs and stuff. But I don't know. I don't like this at all, but maybe you can find out why it's actually good. First impression, I'm not impressed. And in the last skill, Luxeus Revelation, you have damage to non-god type enemies plus 7%. So if you're looking for a little bit of a damage increase, as long as they're not god type, you get about 7%, which honestly I'm not even sure if that's good. Well, I'll rephrase it. It's not even necessary. It's for most characters nowadays. It's not too difficult to get them to cap. So having the plus 7% for 8SC, I just don't think it's worth it. Like, in all honesty, the only skills on here that I think are actually good is Dark Drive and Awaken. But you can get Awaken on a lot of other skills that are not as rare to get. So, I don't know. Like, overall, I'm not impressed. Like, it's kind of eh. And then let's take a look at the Ether Reward, which I would argue is the best thing about this particular arc. This is the Godfetter. So this is a light attribute sword to 300 strength, which is pretty high, with a 150 plus intelligence, which is also pretty strong. Chance for regular attacks to give an enemy a physical... I'm sorry, let me read that again. Chance for regular attacks to give enemy a physical damage minus 20% debuff, physical attack damage plus 10% to God-type enemies. So as far as numbers, it's pretty good. Like I said, 300 strength is actually pretty cool with a 150 bonus, especially if your character has like a thaumaturgy ring. So it's actually kind of good stat-wise. As far as a trait, it's okay. It's nothing to brag about, but I think it's okay. It might be decent. But overall, I'd say it's a decent weapon. It's would I be using my Ethereum for it? Not really. But, like I said, I think it's the best thing about this arc. So, overall, I'm not really impressed with this. Like, I would argue this might be the worst of the URs we have, including all of the free ones. Like I said, I'm just not really impressed with the arc trait, nor am I impressed with the skills you can learn. I mean, Dark Drive is about the best thing you're going to get. And the Arc Ether Reward is decent. I mean, that's pretty much all I can say. So, as I said earlier, getting to floor 100 is pretty challenging. Like I started on it, Thursday night, and then I finished it Friday morning. Because by Friday morning, I was already ready to tackle number 99. So I got through that, got through 100, and, there you go. But like I said, it was highly difficult. And like I said, you're having to swap parties constantly. I mean, once you know what party to use, it's not so bad. But it's just the fact that it's a little bit tedious having to use gate spheres to go back and forth to put the right squad together. I just wasn't a huge fan of that. But I mean, the best thing about doing it is just the thrill of saying you did it. That's really, I think that idea is better than the arc itself. Just saying that you completed it once. In my personal opinion, would I do this again during the next tower to get a dupe of this arc? Absolutely not. I do not think it's worth it. I will probably clear up to 91 and be done. Just because, like I said, I can use the same team. No swapping, no having to use gate spheres. I can use the same team from 1 to 91, no problem. And I just don't feel like wasting gate spheres going back and forth and just having to struggle to do like the last 9 floors. It's just, to me, it's just not worth it. I kind of wish this was a little bit better. Like, I wish we either had a much better Ether Reward or just much better skills. Now, I understand that this is a quote free UR, but even then, I'm just not impressed. I don't think that the struggle to get there was worth it. I mean, no, I'm a collector, and that's probably the only thing I get out of this, just the fact that I could say I collected it, I unlocked it, but that's pretty much it. It's just bragging rights, So, like I said, you can decide for yourself. I'm sure some of you have probably cleared it too. But for those of you who have not cleared it, like I said, I'll let that be up to you if you feel like it's worth getting this. That's kind of why I wanted to make this video to begin with. I wanted to kind of let you guys know what to expect. And like I said, you might like this arc better than I do. You might see some of this stuff and be like, oh, wow, this is exactly what I need for whatever I want to do. So if this is an arc that you really, really like, yeah, push and go for it. But if this arc does not impress you, unless you're just a completionist or a collector, I wouldn't waste your time. I would just say, collect the LR art that you can constantly get and be done. But as far as getting this, I just don't think it's worth it. I'm just 100% not impressed. Like I said, all the other URs, even the free ones, I actually like those better than this, Like I said, the only redeeming factor to me is Dark Drive is a pretty cool thing. And then the weapon is okay, but we have better light swords in the game, so that's why I'm not overly impressed. So that's just what it is. I guess I'm just not a big fan. But like I said, this is up to you. Like I said, I'm telling you how I feel about it, but this is information for you to determine if you feel it's worth it. Because again, 92 through 100 can be challenging. if you don't know how to clear each one. Now, I'm not going to go into spoilers as far as how to beat them or what the final boss is. I mean, it is interesting what they did. So, like I said, I think the battles were interesting at the very least, especially the final boss. I kind of like what they did there. It's pretty cool. But outside of that, I don't know. Like I said, up to you. But just want to throw out this quick video. And like I said, feel free to let me know if you think this arc is actually better than I'm saying, and just tell me why. Because I mean, maybe you see something that I don't. You know, I tend to underestimate arcs sometimes. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I have no problem with that. But until next time, keep gaming, be kind and grind. Later.